Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Killian. Killian is from Orlando, in Florida, in the USA. So let's see what Killian has to say. Enjoy the interview. So, Killian, how are you today?
Good. Sunny Florida. Beautiful day.
Raining in London.
Oh, no, it's beautiful here. Warm. I went to the beach yesterday. It's so nice.
No, I'm gonna be honest. Today, actually, I must say it's been cold, but today it's a beautiful day. Like now, it's evening now, 7:30 p.m., but it's still daylight, and it was a sunny day, but still cold. We are getting there slowly to the good weather. So tell me where you're from, Killian.
Originally, I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, in the United States, which is a very rural country part of the U.S., not very populated.
And why the change from Tennessee to Florida?
Well, the job that I had at the time, I was traveling every week. I would fly out on Sunday, work the whole week, and fly back on Thursday. And when you're in a small town, then you're on a regional carrier. And so you have an extra flight leg every time you fly somewhere. So it made sense for me to move to a larger city so that I could cut out hours of travel every week.
I see. And where in Florida are you living right now?
In
Miami?
Orlando with Mickey Mouse.
Oh my
Disney
God.
is in Orlando, yeah.
I know I was working for Disney Cruise Line a few years
Yeah.
ago for a short contract, so I know the weather there, very hot.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess it's what you're used to.
And how long have you been living there for?
Almost 12 years, about 13, 11 years, I guess.
It's been for a while now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And what do you do for work, for living?
My main work is I configure software for construction companies, right? And then on the side, of course, I do go-go dancing and porn.
Oh, wow. So tell me a little bit about two careers, your Monday to Friday job and your evening job.
Well, it's the day job is a lot of computer work. I'm by myself. I interact with clients and I make the systems do what they need. And then on the weekends, I film porn. And I go dance, and then all that goes with that, right?
See. Also, you do as well adult content, you meant.
Oh yeah.
I see. So you work at a go-go dancer, and also you create adult content.
Yeah, adult content either through a studio or for social media sites like OnlyFans and Just for Fans and things like that. But that's mostly nights and weekends.
So tell me, as a go-go boy, do you perform like it's in just in one place, or it depends your journey, you go different places as well?
It's really anybody who contacts me. I'm older, and so usually if there's an event that's for more leather or muscly bear type things, I'm usually a go-to kind of guy for that. I've danced for Ram parties. I've danced in Kansas City for their bear bust. I'm a regular dancer in Fort Lauderdale at the Eagle. That's my normal one. And then just, I've done bigger events like Circuit Mom for Market Days and things like that, big things. But really, it's anybody who calls me and says, you want to dance. I just Tampa for Pride.
And you always like dancing?
Oh yeah, I didn't really ever think I would be a go-go dancer because we all think we're great dancers, when we're in our rooms, dancing. Then one day out of nowhere, I had a very popular Instagram, and which, by the way, my Instagram shtick is every day a different pair of underwear, right? Every single day.
How really?
And I've been doing it for years, and so I kind of got a following. Everybody tunes in to see what I'm going to wear the next day. Right, just one picture usually. And then a guy contacted me and said, hey, you want to dance? I'm like, you've never actually even seen me dance. But because I had a little bit of notoriety, I said, sure, I'll do it. And I did, and I loved it. And once you do one, then maybe you do another, and then somebody hears that you do it, and they contact you, and it just kind of keeps going.
Absolutely. And I think that's what I find fascinating about life. When you are open-minded, when you are expose yourself somehow, you are expressing the way you are creating, a way of expressing yourself. and suddenly those, new journeys start come, opportunities, and you need to be open-minded, and you never know when life can take you when you are open-minded and approachable.
Absolutely. And that was my new motto that I kind of took whenever I turned 45 was, instead of asking, why should I do something? Why would I do that? Why would that? I switched it. And I said, why not? You want me to go dance? Why not? You think I should be in porn? Why not? And every time a new opportunity comes, I'm like, sure, let's give it a shot. You want me to be on your program? Let's just see where it goes. Let's see what happens. I'm all about an adventure.
I love that. I love what you said. I had so many guests on the show that actually it went the same way I did. I just contact you, I think it was today or yes, I'm not sure. It's been quite short. And people, yes, why not? Let's try, let's do it. And again, you never know what can happen. You know what I mean? When you are open-minded, there's always of possibilities. And that's what I find fascinating as well. So thanks so much for taking the time today for the interview.
Of course, I love it.
So, Killian, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Sure, I love it. Let's do it.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So, it's my best friend. No further fun questions. I'm just going to play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Sure.
Let's do it. Killian, before we start the game, during the journey, if there is a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Sure, no problem.
First question for you is, what makes you feel very sentimental?
My family, in particular, thinking about my mom. Very sentimental. Good times that I don't really have anymore, that I miss, because I live a very different life now. But whenever I think about family back home in Tennessee, I get very sentimental. Yeah.
Oh, wow. But your mom's still in Tennessee, or she passed away? Your mom?
She's still in Tennessee with the rest of my family. She's been better, right?
I see.
And she's slowly declining, but we're cherishing every moment we have left. So, but I always think about all the things we did when I was young that brought so much joy when we had no money. And you really find that you don't need it to really have a great time. I mean, I had a great childhood and we didn't have a nickel. And so I miss those times where it was a slower pace and you really got to enjoy life and things around you a little bit more, savor it.
Do you have siblings as well?
Yeah, I got an older sister and a younger sister. We're very, very, very close.
Oh. Killian, tell me how was growing up as a gay boy back in Tennessee. Tell me the challenge or the way how things worked out for you, if you can share.
Of course, we have to go through different lenses, right? Because I'm older, and so we're talking about mid 80s to early 90s, and depending on the age of people watching, it was a very difficult time for people who were gay. Right, because of HIV and AIDS and the stigma, people didn't know what was happening. And I was talking to a young kid recently, and he couldn't fathom the fact that we were hated as a group. Like, really, don't come near me, because if your blood touches me, I'll die. Kind of weirdness that seems so foreign now. So that is the lens that I'm looking at it through. So it's very difficult, especially since I was in a small rural town where there were no gay people that I knew about, they're there, but I didn't know any. They're not on TV. There are no role models. So I didn't really see that as an option, right? So you just kind of start burying it and burying it and burying it till you know it's there, but you can't do anything with it. And so, again, there's no internet, there's no phones, there's no apps, there's just you and I'm out in the fields, I'm very rural. And so I didn't really do much with it, always knew. And so when I got into college, after college, I got married to a woman, because that was the only future I could see, right?
Wow.
So I gave that a shot. So it was very difficult. I didn't have a bad childhood, but I did keep that in.
Yeah. So you never came out to your family, you kind of kept for a while until your adult life?
Oh, absolutely. Nobody knew, and I would never vocalize that at all. I mean, it was clear as a bell to me. You know, I'm getting the Sunday paper and getting the J.C. Penney ad and going straight to the underwear and sock section because I really like socks too, and just looking at the guys shirtless, right, with their underwear on. Maybe that's why I like underwear so much today. It's my Instagram. But so I knew, but again, there was nothing you could do about it, and so you kind of stifle it and you try to present as straight. And so I got really anxious about speaking because I thought that was a dead giveaway. And so I got very quiet. And so it's very quiet some. It didn't help that I was also an artist. I went to college for fine arts. So fine
Wow.
art, love musicals, you know, skinny boy with maybe a little bit of a gay tone to me. I think everyone knew, but it was just never vocalized. No.
It's interesting, isn't it? Like looking back at those
Oh,
memories, and you go like, my goodness, how the world changed in a way. But you know, like for example, this generation, you know, they suffered a lot because again, nowadays is exposed out there. Even
yeah.
people they don't want to see it, but it's there. There's no way for you to avoid this. It's on TV now, it's the internet, everywhere you go there's always something that's going to try to open your mind or you open your way, and even though you cannot avoid anymore, it's there, even though if you don't want to accept. But at the time, as you said, it was hidden. It always happened to the neighbors, it always happened to another member of the family, but never happened to our house, in our household. Never happened.
Ever, or anybody I knew. It was just like completely foreign concept.
Totally, totally.
Foreign concept. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Oh, no problem. I love it. The more you can share, maybe one person will hear it and think, hey, you know, that's my journey, and hopefully it makes them feel a little better. So say it as much as you can.
Totally. And again, you know, you never know, people watching the interview or now, maybe they're still trapped in that situation, and just seeing someone talking so open about it, it can encourage them just to be their truly self. I know it's not easy sometimes because even though there's a world out there, it's still, you know, hard to deal with, but seeing people talking about and sharing their challenges or, you know, memories, it's always, it's a plus and can help a lot of people.
Amen.
Next question. Next question for you is, what is the most memorable lesson you've learned from your parents?
Trying to think of the right word. It's kind of the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And to maybe put other people first. And that's a concept. I've worked all over the country and in a lot of different communities, but I think where I'm from in East Tennessee, we almost do it to a fault. And so I always try to treat everyone with respect, and I try to help them in any way that I can. So if you see somebody who's struggling to lift something or move something, offer to help, right? Tennessee's called the volunteer state. And so that's kind of what we do. And I really got that from my parents. I saw them treating everyone equally, right? There's no special people or people in power or people who have money. We are just people, all of us. And so it's really helped me because now not only just with people who have money, who don't have money, but people of different nationalities and things like that, where I just feel like we're all on the same level, right? We're just trying to get up in the morning, do our thing, and maybe have fun with family and friends later, right? And the rest is all just in the way, right? So that's really what I got from them, is that we're all in this together, and to treat everybody with respect and help them out, even if maybe they're not willing to help you out. Do it because it makes you feel good and because it might make them feel good. Don't ever expect anything in return. Just give.
Absolutely. And as you said, in the end of the day, if you think deeply, we are in the same boat, everyone, all of us.
Yes. In particular, I always think if somebody's upset or mad, the knee-jerk reaction is to get mad back, but you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know what happened to them that morning. You just don't know where they're coming from. So just take a step back and breathe and just let them have their moment. Because we don't know what path somebody else is on. Give them a break.
And we have those days as well, those days that you just want to
Oh
scream.
no, mine's always rainbows and unicorns. There's never any bad days.
Next question.
Okay.
You can help me dancing all the time. I can follow your moves, even though if not.
I think you've got plenty of your own.
I'm from Brazil, you know.
Oh, good. Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Somehow you have some, you know, those things in your blood already, in our Latin blood.
Uh-huh.
Before the next question, Killian, tell me how the idea or the opportunity to create adult content started.
Well, like I said, I had an Instagram that had gotten pretty popular, right? And because I'm always just in underwear, right? I get a lot of people who would ask, you know, do you do porn? Do you do this? Do you do that? And it was always no. It never even occurred to me. And then one day, somebody asked me the question, and I said no. And they said, well, I think you have a look that they could use. And here are 2 numbers to call. Well, at first you're like, no. And then you sit there and you think, well, maybe I could call the number. But I won't do anything if they do it. And so almost as a lark, I sent a message to them. And because I really didn't think it would work. I was 45 at the time. So old-ish. And to my surprise, they called me back and set up an interview, which was not your typical interview. You can imagine some of the questions they asked. And I answered it, and I didn't think anything about it. And then I got a call, and they said, in 3 weeks, be here at this place. We have you a booking.
Wow.
And so at that moment, you're like, oh, it could really happen. And then you have to decide now, wait, was this a lark? Or are you going to follow through? And, you know, I thought, why not? You know, I'm in a position with my work and my life where I thought, you know, I want this adventure. I want to say I've done it or tried it. It may not lead anywhere, but I want to say I did it. And so I did it, and it was maybe not the best. But another one came, and then another one, and then it slowly builds. And before you know it, you're doing it. So it was very organic, nothing really planned, very late in life. But I've had a fun ride with it. I still love it.
Walk me through the day when you did the first scene, when you arrived there at the place. Tell me something that you're not expect to happen, that happened, something that it surprised you in a positive way.
Okay, so the very first thing I did was not full sex, right? It was not going to be that. And so I was like, okay. And they said, it is a foot worship side. I'm like, oh, great. I love feet. I love feet. That's one of my things. I'm like, I can do this. So I go, and I've just run a race, and he's the doctor who's got a little place set up, and he wants to check out my feet. I'm like, can we do that? And flips me over, and he does his business with my feet, right? And so I'm like, okay, great. He's like, well, we're going to film another one. I'm like, okay, sure. Now I've come back, and I want to return the favor. So I do this, and I've taken his shoes off, and I'm like sniffing his feet and everything. And I'm on the ground, and he's got his feet in my face, and I'm thinking, I'm laying on the ground, and a dude has his feet in my face. What's happening? How did I end up here? And then the director says, have you ever heard of stomping? And I'm like, well, no. And he said, well, it's where someone will get on your chest and stomp on you. I'm like, okay. And he said, do you want to try it? I'm not. So I'm like, sure. And so this 200+ pound guy, I'm laying on the ground, literally stands on my chest, not 1 foot off, not just both feet, and then just like grapes. What's happening here? And then the director says, do you think you can jack off? It was a lot. And that's when I thought, did I really make the right decision here? Because this is pretty weird. But it even got a little bit more bizarre, because after that he said, we're going to film a third one. I'm like, well, I don't understand. He's done his thing. I've done my thing. What are we going to do? Said, well, this is also a tickle website. And I said, okay. And so I said, well, what do I do? And he takes me to this chair. and you sit in it, and it's like a lazy boy kind of thing with your feet out. You put your feet down, and these, stockade things come over and lock your feet into position. And then you put
Ooh,
the strap over your legs, and then just ties your hands behind your head. It says, now we're just going to tickle you for 30 minutes. Feathers and hairbrushes on your feet and electric toothbrushes, and all the while you can't get away. You're just swimming in a soaking with sweat. So that was my first experience, and it was wild. And I thought, I love it. What an experience. At first I was thinking, how did I get myself into this? This is the craziest thing. What have I done? But in the end I thought, wow, that was really kind of exciting. And so that kept me going. I'm like, well, what will the next one bring? And just one after the other, something new and exciting was happening. But at first it was very, what am I doing? What am I doing? How did I land on the floor with the giant man stomping on me while I'm playing with myself? This just seems crazy. But in the end, I ended up loving it. And I've gone back to that site 4 or 5 times. I keep
wow.
going back. This time I'm the tickler. It's not the tickly. It's a little bit better.
I see. All right. Next question for you is, what is the strangest gift have you ever received?
You know, I know. My mom has a bit of a sense of humor, and she loves to do yard sales, right? And so she's always finding these really interesting things. So it's Christmas and my whole family's around, and we're sitting there, and I've got this present, and I can see by the look on her face that it's going to be something unusual, because she's kind of sitting up and like taking notice of this. And I open it up, and it's a crocheted Santa toilet paper holder. So somebody has knitted this body that fits over a roll of toilet paper with these little Santa legs and little Santa head on the top. And it was literally 20 to 30 years old. I mean, that toilet paper was like disintegrating. She no doubt found, and she's just cackling, and everybody's eyes are crazy. It's just the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. And so every year I regift it, and we started passing it around because it's just so bizarre and unusual. So we just keep it moving.
Do you get back to Tennessee quite often or not?
At least bare minimum, I go for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then I try to go another couple of times throughout the year. I just went pretty recently, a couple of weeks back. Now that she's not doing so well, I'm trying to get up there a little bit more while she can still remember. And she recognizes you, and she knows everything. And then 30 minutes later, oh, look who's here. Right, her short term's not there, but you ask her an old question and she's fine. So yeah, I try to get up there as much as possible.
Sweet. Next one. Next question for you is, what do you think people need to know about each other before they get married?
What do they need to know about each other before they get married? They need to know that the other person is not going to change. It's not one thing that you need to know about the other person. It's knowing that what they're doing now, they're really not going to change. If they get a glass out of the cupboard and they leave that cupboard door open because that's the way they are, yeah, they're going to do that 20 years later. And if that's a deal breaker for you, you need to make peace with it. We all make compromises. We don't really change. And that was a lesson. I used to be avid churchgoer, and a really good pastor that we had was quick to point that out because he does a lot of marriage counseling. And I found it to be true, right? I have been with my husband for 15 years now. And the one thing I know is that he's going to chew like a horse in a field. Maybe not the mouth open, but that sound is just grating to me. So we have a rule that we cannot take a bite of food until either we turn on TV or some music, because if I hear it, I will lose my brain. And in return, I never hang up my robe. My house coat, I wear one every day I get up, and it's like a hug when I put it on. But when I'm done, I drop it wherever I'm at, and he wants to slaughter me. These are the things, and of course, obviously, there's a small thing. There are much bigger things to consider. Uh, but that's just an example, right? But know that you will not change them
Uh-huh.
and not to waste any time doing it. And if they're doing something that you're like, oh, I'll break that person of that, or we'll get them out of that, you won't, right? You won't, right? It should be easy. And if it is not easy, you're with the wrong person.
Totally. Besides the communication in a relationship, which is a big thing, I think, as you said, accepting the person as well, and, accepting and try to adjust yourself. I think is a relationship, it's a maintenance every single day. You know what I mean? With up and down, sometimes up, sometimes really down, but it's the maintenance. It's how it makes, spicy and more, desired to have this relationship. Is your husband from Tennessee as well?
Yeah, we met there. Yes.
Oh, sweet. And
Yes.
tell me, what's the biggest difference between both of you and the biggest similarity?
The biggest difference is he is I call him the hammer, right? If a situation comes up and you need some, because he works in the medical field and he's had a lot of patients who are disruptive and stuff. And so if it's time to take a pill, you take the pill, right? So he's the hammer. I am the soft gloves, because where I grew up, we were always trying to keep the mood calm. And so we're always trying to see both sides of the story. And if you don't take the pill, well, why do you not want to take the pill? Maybe we could take the pill later. I have that kind of mentality, and he is not. He's the hammer and I'm the glove. So that's how we were very different. The way we were similar, we have very similar sense of humor. We always make each other laugh. We almost have a different language that we speak because we know so many of the same references that we've used for many years. So we're always making each other laugh. And that's one of the greatest things about it. We're always laughing together.
Amazing. Very good. Next question.
All right.
Next question is, what's your funniest memory of a date that you had?
Okay, so putting this out there, I don't date a lot. I was married to a woman for almost 9 years, and it was about then I had a little 2-year relationship, and I've been with my husband for 14 years. So my dating experience is very low.
Right.
It's not like I've got tons to go through here, but I think it was with my husband, the first date we went on, because we met on Manhunt. Right now, this is before Grindr and all these apps. You would go into this online site, you would meet people potentially to hook up, right? And he's like, "Well, you want to go to dinner?" And I'm like, "Okay, we can go to dinner, sure." So we went to dinner, right? And we ate dinner, and that was great. And so that in itself was a little unusual because I hadn't really been expecting that. He's like, "Well, I'm painting my apartment. Do you want to come help me pick out the paint colors?" And I'm thinking, oh yeah, this is where it's interesting, right? And so we go to his apartment, and on the wall, there's like 3 colors. He's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "I think that's not what I came here for." And so we're looking at these paint colors, and I'm thinking, this is not at all what I thought was going to happen here. And we didn't do anything that night, except we laughed and we carried on. And I thought, wow, that was out of nowhere. And then we got back together again and again and again and again. And so it's just the expectation, reality was kind of mind blowing to me. Well, I ate, and I'm like, I'm prepared to do more, but this eating could. And then we went and looked at the colors, literally 3 of the swatches. It was the weirdest thing ever. And then we watched South Park. I'm thinking, who is this person? But it ended up working out 15 years later.
That's how he got your heart.
I guess by not giving me anything but his heart, at least to start with.
There we go. Ready for another one?
Yeah, of course.
Let's do it. Before the next question, tell me, what's the best part of living in Orlando, in your opinion? What's the big joy of it? And this challenging part, the flip side, what that would be?
Of living in Orlando?
Yeah.
The thing that I love about living in Orlando is that it is simply located. one of the reasons why we first moved there was that he was going to go to school there. And while he was doing that, we were going to check out all these beaches all around because it's right in the middle and find one to move to. And what we realized is, well, we like being able to go to all of them, right? So I can be in Tampa in an hour and a half or 2 hours. I can be in Cocoa Beach in 45 minutes. I can go up to Daytona in an hour and a half, and I can come to Fort Lauderdale in 3, right? And so we love the fact that we can go everywhere. It's also covered in lakes, like real lakes. I'm from Tennessee, where they're man-made lakes with dam, and so they're all crooked and everything. But here there are all these beautiful round lakes, and the weather's great, and we fell in love with it. And so when he did finish school, we just decided to stay, and we've been there ever since, right? The challenging part nowadays is since COVID, there's nowhere off the bar, right? We're not a city that's big enough to have multiple bars, right? But the big gay bar that I loved, that I went to with all of my friends, and we had such a good time dancing and laughing, closed after 40 plus years of being in the same location. And nothing's really taken its place. And so there's a huge void there for now, almost a year and a half, where there's not really anywhere to go with my friends, you know? And so we don't get to go out as a group together. Like, we have a very tight-knit group, like 20, 30 people that would all go at the same time. And it's just not there anymore. And I really, really miss it. It makes it very hard.
See.
Because I like that time with my friends, and it's different. You can't just go to a house with 20, 30 people. There's no dancing stuff. And I really miss that.
Right. Next question is, I think this one is going to be very easy for you. If you could spend an entire day with a family member, who that would be and why?
Mom. Obviously mom, because those days are few nowadays. And so I just want to be around her. We may not talk a lot, right? The last couple of times we don't talk a lot. She doesn't start conversation. She listens, right? But yeah, I can't waste any time with anyone else. I just want to be with her. And my sisters will be there too, but mom's the focal point.
Amazing. Next question. My God, I'm so brave to be dancing from.
Get this boy a box. He needs a box. Get him a box. But you can only wear a jockstrap, so.
Oh, actually, I'm wearing one right now. I'm joking.
Let's see.
Oh. Next question is, where do you see yourself living when you retire?
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
We bought a condo. I'm actually there in Fort Lauderdale now, in my little condo. And I come down once or twice a month, or we'll try to come down once or twice a month. It's warm, it's beautiful. There's lots of places to go, and there's lots of places to go for men of a certain age, you know. And so I feel more at home here. Palm Springs is another place that's really good for, I think, when you get older. And I'm older, right? And so I just feel more comfortable here. The one bar that's left in Orlando, when I go, I think people really think I'm a bouncer. Like, they don't necessarily see me as an option because they're so young, right? And everybody there is so young. And so I'm sitting there like this, and they're like, oh, hide your hand. So they doesn't see the I'm too young to drink sign. Like, so it's just nice to come to a city and go out where you're an option, right? And so I just think, and because I like to go out still, I think Fort Lauderdale is probably going to be it. Plus, we have a condo here, so it makes sense.
I think I had 2 or 3 guests on the show from there, from Fort Lauderdale. And yes, actually, I remember now. And Palm Springs as well. I think I have more people from Palm Springs than Fort Lauderdale, for sure.
Yeah.
3 questions left for you. Let's do it.
Okay, just 3. All right.
Before the next one, tell me what you like the most about being a go-go dancer. And tell me, and the other part of the question is, what is the biggest misconception that people have from go-go dancers, in your opinion?
Okay, so my favorite part about go-go dancing is because you get to dance. Okay, you get to dance. And I don't mean the in the bar kind of trying to look cool, maybe work my way over to this person, work my way over to that one, you know, that slot kind of dance thing. when you are go-go dancing and you're on the box, your arms are out and you're doing crazy stuff, bam, bam, oh. And as long as you're doing it with conviction, people are eating it up, right? They just want to dance with you. So it's all about big movements and just doing anything you want. And so it's completely unbridled fun, right? You get to do that stuff that, you know, most of the time you do at home in the mirror and nobody would ever see. That is the best part about it. Plus, you get paid to do cardio. I mean, come on.
Of course.
Because I mean, by the time I'm done, I'm sweating. And when I do those big arm movements, sweat goes flying off and lands on the people. It's crazy. Because I give it my all. I mean, I'm not just, you know, I give it all. I guess the thing that people misconceive about go-to-go dancers, I guess, is that they can maybe be a little too handsy. They think that maybe you're not there as a go-go dancer, but a lot of us are in the adult industry. And so in their mind, they're thinking, oh, I can play with this person. I mean, if I had a nickel for everybody who tried to put $1 in literally inside of my butt. I mean, I'm dancing in a jockstrap. I'm throw it out there, right? And I don't mind, you know, maybe smacking around and everything. But when you're trying to actually insert things, or if you're drunk and you're being super sloppy, you can cross a line there. Now, some of the events I dance at, that line is okay, right? They bill it as that. But if you're just at the sometimes it's a little bit much, and they think that that's okay with you. And for some of us, I don't mind nearly as much as other people. I just like people to have fun, and I take that in stride. But a lot of people get really offended, like my body, my choice. You know, I do not consent for you to, you know, whip it out and smack it on my legs. I don't know, just crazy stuff. But that's probably what they think of misconceptions, that we're not just there to dance, but you also think we're there to have sex. That is a party that I have danced at. So I'm not saying that that doesn't happen, but a lot of the times it's a lot. Right?
I had a Google dancer back on the show last year, and he said that, said something interesting. He said that Google dance, they are selling sexy, not sex. You know what I mean?
Well, and again, there are some places I have danced where we are selling sex, right? That is a thing.
Yeah.
Normally, if you're at a bar and you're up there, you're right. They're absolutely right. We are selling sexy, not necessarily sex. Right?
Cool. Next question is, what have you learned during the coronavirus lockdown? Tell me something that's positive that came out of that challenging period that happened.
Well, I mean, we all took up something, I guess, when we had that extra time. One thing I learned is that you have to work out without needing a gym, and that I could do it. I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but I also took up yoga, and I tried to learn yoga, and I really love it. I'm no good at it at all, but I love doing that and taking the time to do it. So that was very good. I was in a kind of a bubble with a lot of friends, so I wasn't really by myself a lot. You know, we had a group, we all had it very early on because we're in Florida and winter party happened right at that time, and it's kind of wildfire, right? Everybody had it right away. And so we felt okay to hang out with each other. So I didn't really have that loneliness or anything that a lot of people had. But I did. I took up yoga and I learned how to work out at home, and those kind of fun things.
How often do you work out let's say per week?
I do 3 days at the gym, and then I try to jog one, and then I try to take a day off, and then I repeat. And so it's not a full, like a week schedule, because if you do that and you miss a day, it throws you off and you're like, what do I do? Whereas if you just kind of go in order and you miss one, we just pick up where you left off. So I don't think of it as a per week. I think of it as I do 2 body parts, 2 body parts, 2 body parts, cardio, day off. I used to go way more, but I learned that that's not productive. It can be counterproductive.
Fitness always been your life, part of your life?
No, and so it's really kind of most of my life. I was not really fit. I was skinny, like I call it gay thin. And when you're young and you've not really developed yet, and like your chest sinks in. And I can remember one of my goals was I call it a W. So from here went down and up, and here went down and up. And I looked in the mirror and I thought, one day I want to have an M, where this was higher than my shoulder, because it wasn't, it was underneath. And so I did not start until 30. I didn't pick up a weight until I was 30 years old. And so now sometimes people compliment my muscle, and in my brain, I've got 1 through 30 years of being rail thin, no muscle, and just maybe a few years of being muscular. And so I think they think I'm being false modest, but in my brain, I'm not that muscle guy. I'm that skinny boy. And so it takes a little while to get used to, but I did not start until I was 30. Now I played sports and stuff, but never worked out until 30 years old. Nothing at all.
2 questions left. Let's do it. Next question is, tough question now. What is the most dramatic argument you ever had?
Okay. And this is silly, right? Yeah. Because first of all, I don't argue.
Okay.
I just don't. There's no point in it, and I go out of my way to keep from arguing, right? So I don't usually have arguments. I worked in the service industry for quite some time, and I had arguments with people quite a bit there. But in my personal life, the only time I can really thinking it was getting very dramatic is I was at the beach for Memorial Day in Pensacola. And if you've not been, or if you've not heard, there's like 100,000 people on the beach all day. And there's no businesses around. They shut down the road and everything. Everybody puts their tents up, and you just walk up and down the beach all day. And it's amazing. I've done it many, many years. Wonderful time. Well, somebody came to our tent very drunk and sat in one of the chairs and was being belligerent. I was not having it. And so I went over there and just let them have it. And they wanted to talk back to me, and my blood was getting boiled. And so I very dramatically grabbed the chair and I slammed him out of it. And he's like, get out, just get out, and I never get angry. And everybody I know was like, what's happened here, right? And so it wasn't really, I guess it was an argument, but it was definitely the most dramatic thing I've ever done, right? Obviously, when I'm working with the public, I get very dramatic. I had to get, lots of little things with the public. But in my personal life, that's probably the only time I could ever remember thinking, wow, that was pretty showy, right? I got really put on a show.
It was the moment.
Yeah, the moment, right? I do not argue. I do not normally do that. I'm the most peaceful person. You're going to be so laid back. And if somebody wants to argue, I'm like, no, I don't know. And I just excuse myself.
Interesting. Ready for the last one?
Yeah.
Last question. Before the last question, I'm going to ask something to you. As you mentioned at the beginning of the interview about your childhood, being gay wasn't easy, and you got married as well with a woman for, to get things, right at the time. Mm-hmm. My question to you is, knowing the person that you are today, right now, if you had the superpower of erasing that period of your life, would you do it or would you keep it, knowing the person you are today?
Keep it. Absolutely. Those were not bad years, right? Those were not bad years at all. They were fantastic years. I loved her. That was not the problem, right? And I would not miss a bit of, we're still best friends.
Wow.
I still talk to her all the time, right? It's not that I don't like her. That's not the thing. And I was never miserable with her. We did great vacations. She had a great family. We played cards. It was wonderful, wonderful time. So I would not miss it for the world. And plus, it helped me be who I am today. We were very church going, and I learned a lot of great life lessons there that I would not miss out for anything in the world. Did I miss out on a lot, maybe some party years when you're 20? Well, yeah, back then, AIDS was also running rampant, and I would probably be dead, truthfully. Right? Mm-hmm. I would probably be dead. So I think there was a guiding hand that pushed me that way. And I had a fantastic time. I was never miserable. She's an amazing person. And so I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it all. It was great.
Amazing. Okay. Last question for you is, who are you most thankful for and why?
My husband, because he's there. He's my rock. He's my home. And having a home base means everything, especially when I travel and everything like that. So it doesn't matter where we're at, as long as he's there, I'm good, right? And he makes me laugh, and we have a good time. And yeah, I don't know what I would do if he wasn't there. You're gonna get me upset.
Really?
No. You can't ask me
Oh,
serious questions like that.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I can feel your emotion right now. You know, talking about him. I think it's we feel so lucky when you have someone that we can literally trust and be around, and they're gonna accept us the way we are. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna be by our side no matter what. And when we know that, when we feel that, it's special.
Yeah,
Beautiful. And I can see him smiling right now, watching it.
Oh, he kind of distances himself from a lot of this stuff because he thinks it's the funniest thing, because he knows me as like the skinny kind of guy, and the fact that I do this adult stuff, he just rolls his eyes like it's just the funniest thing to him.
And he's okay with that. Like when you start doing your adult content, he was okay.
Oh yeah, we had been together for quite some time by then, right? I didn't start when I was 45. And we were completely monogamous for 5 years, right? And then we kind of opened it up a little. So it wasn't a real change or anything like that. So yeah, he's been very supportive and lets me do things. I don't take any work without running it by him first, right? Because the last thing I want to do is upset him, right? And so he's always really good. Every now and then he's like, no, I think we need to go here or somewhere there instead, and I will. But for the most part, he gives me free rein to do what I need to do.
Beautiful. It's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Okay, here we go.
One word. So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like. Don't forget to share this video. And also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. One word for family.
Sisters.
Money.
Money. Unnecessary.
Love.
Love. Husband.
One word for life.
Joy.
Sex.
Pig.
Ooh.
I'm just saying what comes to my head.
I love it. I love it. Politics.
Politics. Broken.
Religion.
Love.
Fear.
Useless.
Friendship.
Amazing.
Desire.
Desire. Sugar.
Interesting.
I'm like, what is I really kill for some Twizzlers. Anyway, keep going.
Regret.
None.
Success.
Happiness.
Wish.
Happiness.
And one word for happiness.
Family.
One word for Tennessee.
Balance. Home. Home.
One word for Orlando.
Fun.
How about USA? One word.
Broken.
One word for adult content creator.
Fearless.
And the last one now, go-go dancer. One word.
Excitement.
Amazing. Okay, let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely husband for a coffee, and I'm going to ask him, define Killian in one positive word and one negative word only. What he would say.
Goofy and messy.
Always been?
At home, yeah, I can come in with the house clean after I've been gone a week, and by the time I've been there 2 days, it's like a tornado's hit. I'll clean it eventually, but
Let's play now, Killian and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Let's do it. There you go. But actually, before you ask me the question, as you are passionate about underwears, tell me if you could choose just one as your favorite, like the style or the way, which one that would be?
A really, really go-to brand called Coyote Jocks. It's Nasty Pig is great. They're very comfortable. I went to buy one just yesterday. It was $40 for just a little jog strap. So yeah, they're probably number one, but a great deal and just great comfort is Coyote Jocks. It's very sexy.
See. Okay. Can ask me a question now?
Okay, I'm ready. What movie made you cry like a baby and why?
Wow, good question. I love movies, by the way. I love watching.
I love them. I ran movie theaters for 9 years, so I've seen everything. I want to know, and that's this one will help me know something about you. Which one got you?
Okay,
there could be many, right? But what's one that stuck with you?
Okay, actually, good question. I love the question. I was already thinking here, my God, which one I'm gonna pick because there are so many. but actually, I'm gonna go for one that today I talked about it, and it's a funny story behind. And the name of the movie is I Origins. It was such a big surprise that it's very spiritual. Like it's about a South American girl from Argentina, and she's very into like spirituality. She believes in a lot of things, and she falls in love. She's in New York City. She falls in love for this man who is a scientist. So he doesn't believe in those things. So they're completely the opposite. I'm gonna cut, not for you to spoil the movie, but the whole thing, it's about, you know, the crush between both. And she was trying to show him that, you know, sometimes we have these signs in life that you go like, my goodness, how this can happen, like to me, or, you know, it's just like things that you don't know how to explain. Yeah. So there are a few bits in the movie that those things happens, and including himself as well. But the end of the movie, it's amazing because if I tell what happened, I'm going to spoil the whole movie. I'm not going to tell, but the thing is, the final part, what made me emotional was the very last minutes of the movie, because something very drastic happened during the movie that in the end, there's something that happens that it's impossible for you to explain, you know what I mean? Like how this kind of thing can happen. And what made me emotional because was involved something very, you know, with a child that literally just show up and with so many answers with things that was happening at the time. And it's a beautiful movie. It talks a lot about eyes because he was like his profession was everything about eyes, how every human being will have different shape or different color. There's always something different that I didn't know. But anyway, so this movie came to my mind right now when you're saying, because it's something that I was expecting. And literally I meant to watch that movie for some reason, you know. I remember watching it, and when I left the cinema, I was like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting. And it made me cry. It made me cry in the end because it was so powerful and so interesting as well. So yeah, I'm gonna send you the trailer for you to have an idea, and you're gonna see how interesting. And if you have a time, if you like to watch,
oh, I'm always looking for something good to watch. I'm so glad you have something that I haven't seen, because I've seen.
Oh yeah,
I'm one of those who goes to Netflix like, seeing it all. And so anytime I can hear about something that's a surprise, right, that I would maybe not have normally picked, I love it.
You need to watch this one because you're gonna understand what I'm talking about, because it was really well thought out, like the way the director puts all things together, that for me was surprise. And I was so surprised. And for me, to be honest with you, I love movies, and I can watch so many things, but for me to get into it the way I did, it needs to be something very powerful, to forget me the reality and just go into there, even though it's just a movie, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would go for this one for sure. But besides that, I could go on and on and on with so many movies.
Me too. I love them.
Killian, did you enjoy the interview?
I did. I loved it. It's so much fun talking.
Thanks so much for taking the time, for being so open as well, and to share, your memories and your challenges and your, happiness. I think, again, I'm gonna go back. People watching, they always appreciate seeing other people being vulnerable, talking about anything, and I think that's is a good way of approaching life. But before you go, if you can share a positive message or something that you live by.
Yes, and this is one of the things I believe in very, very heavily. You are good the way you are. You don't have to fit a mold to be beautiful, right? A lot of people get hung up on looks, but you know what? I'm not going to get any taller. I'm not going to get any shorter, especially in the moment that I'm in. And so be okay with who you are and don't let it keep you from having a good time, right? Be happy with who you are.
Wow, powerful. Thanks so much. Thanks so much,
Oh,
and keep
thank you
in
so
touch.
much.
Regards to your husband, and all the best. You keep in touch, okay?
All right, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Right. Yeah, bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why do you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.